welcoming you, Speaking to Influence. Who is our beautiful guest today? Her name is Laura Sicola. I think it already sounds very beautiful. Laura Sicola. Laura Sicola, yeah. She's the founder of Vocal Impact Productions. She's working with great leaders of Fortune 500 companies, and she teaches them and inspire them to speak better. I think that is a great tool to know for people how to speak better and influence better. She's the author of the book. She's working with biggest companies, and her TEDx talk was listened by more than 6 million people. So she's a great leader. Hello, Laura.
Hello, Olga. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
That is our honor. My first question is a little bit tricky. Forgive me for trickiness because I'm in red, and I'm from Russia and all this Russia red, and you're in red. So it inspired me to ask the first question. I know that you were commenting as a specialist in communication on the debate between Trump and Biden, because as a specialist, many TV companies asked your opinion, who was better, who was doing great. Of course, they are two great leaders, and two of them were doing great. But what are your comments on the debate?
Well, so I think what's really important, just as a preface, is to understand that I am not political, so I don't take sides. I can look at both candidates and see this was very effective or this was not very effective. Whether it makes me happy is not the point. But I think part of what's important as a leader is to be able to show passion, to show compassion, and to show the right balance between confidence, but also humility. And this is something that each candidate sometimes did very well and sometimes did not do so well. And so one of the things that I think makes Donald Trump a compelling speaker, again, whether or not you liked him as president or as a candidate is not the point, but he was so convicted of everything that he said. He truly, no matter what it was, he sounded like he believed it 100%, no doubt. And that inspires confidence in the listeners. Joe Biden, on the other hand, sometimes was more confident than others, but he also was better able to show compassion to a wider range of audience members. He was able to even give people credit on the other side when they did something well. He didn't feel the need to say, no, only my side is right, their side is always wrong. And that showed a level of humility in his strength at the same time that other people appreciated. So, each one had their strengths as a communicator, whether or not you like their policies.
You are very diplomatic. You are trying not to offend any president or any speech. And that is also a great talent, because it is so easy to be offensive and to offend somebody. This is, I think, a great skill of women, by the way. They do it better than men. I'm sorry if if I will attack some men, but I think it's in our blood, because we need to protect our kids, our family, and even sometimes the country. Maybe that's why.
What is also interesting is that part of it is a question of power, right? When one person has more power or outranks another person, the person at the bottom needs to be more diplomatic if they want to have influence on the person above, because you can't afford to anger someone who outranks you, who has power over you. But a truly good leader, when they are at the top, they are able to recognize the value of using diplomacy to lead those who are below you. You don't have to, but when you do, it just grows the respect that people have for you. And I believe that the difference between a boss and a leader is that people follow a boss because they have to. People follow a leader because they want to. And the way that a leader communicates with the people that they lead is what makes people choose to follow with their heart versus just follow because they have to.
Yeah, there is a great saying when Lincoln was passing his office and somebody cleaner, he asked what you're doing. And he said, we are putting the people to space. We are building that, that is, the meaning is that everybody's involved, of course. When there is a fire in your company or something going on, you cannot tell people go and die under the fire. But if they love you, they will do it. And the same is for the country. The same is if they love you, if they're with you, of course, that means we are together. We are not
Yes.
separate. I want to ask you, because you are so good in that when you're working with big bosses and with millionaires and multimillionaires or just successful people. You were telling that it's important to command, to connect, and also it's important to close the deal, because at the end of the days we are talking with business people. It's important to earn money. If we're just talking, by the way, I'm very good in talking, but I'm very bad in closing deal. And even sometimes I escape the topics of money because I think, oh my God, maybe this person will feel awkward, maybe he doesn't have enough money. And if it will be a woman, I will escape it more because I will try to protect her interests. So how to be good in closing the deal? What we should do?
So I want to kind of clarify one point that I think is important. So there are what I like to call the 3 C's, which you mentioned, right? The ability to command the room, to connect with the audience, and to close the deal. This is the combination that makes someone a compelling and inspiring speaker. But the closing the deal does not have to be literally exchanging money, right? Agreeing on a business deal per se. Closing the deal means getting to yes, means just even agreeing on the next step. Maybe not the signature on the contract, but just saying, okay, we have made this much progress. We are in agreement. Let's continue. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe sign the deal. But it's just making that progress, saying that we understand each other, we agree, and we can move forward. That's where progress, that's where you get more and eventually get to the signature and to the money, I think. So recognizing that each conversation itself has a purpose, and not worry about right from the first conversation, we must get money or get a signature. Appreciate the value of each conversation in establishing a relationship, in building trust, and in making progress. And that's when eventually you will get to that big C of closing the deal, and with the money involved as a business owner.
That is important. So it shouldn't be that much concentration on the money. Yeah. So we are thinking about the communication and trust that you mentioned. That is more important.
Yeah. Well, you can't have one without the other. No one, if they don't trust you, they won't buy from you. We need to, whether, there are so many differences culturally about, do we do business first and then become friends, or do we have to become friends first and then we do business, or do we need to not be friends at all? What kind of relationship do we build? And what comes first, what comes second? But trust always has to be there. And people can usually sense if you just want my money and you're just in it for my money, who are you? What will you do for me? And how do I know I can trust you? There has to be some relationship built first. And the way that you speak with people will help to establish that.
People in USA are known for very direct approach. Yeah. So they are not shy. It's not like Japanese culture where you need to do nemawashi. That is,
Yeah.
Digging the roots. Maybe you
Yes.
will prepare
Digging
for the
around.
important conversation for 10 years. Oh my God, Mamma Mia, you cannot imagine. 10 years you are preparing for the conversation. So how is it in the States? You go right into you're quick in asking what you want, or still you're trying to prepare the roots?
I think it's hard to generalize on a national level. Countries like the US, like Russia, they're so big that from one area to the next, there's such a cultural difference in east to west and north to south, but also there's differences in industries. There's differences in, there's so many things to consider. I think that you really need to know who your audience is and what they want. You do your research and understand that from situation to situation, it really may not be the same. And personally, there are many people who are introverts and need to be a little bit more subtle, and there are extroverts who are much more direct in asking for things. A friend of mine is a hypnotist, actually, a hypnotherapist, and he has a program that is all about what he calls the most expensive fear. And that most expensive fear for entrepreneurs, for business owners, is the fear of asking for money. That we have all these conversations, right? And
Yeah.
we build all this, we do our pitch, we have people say, wow, you must be wonderful. I would love to work with you. And then we have to say what we charge or put the contract language to piece into work and write the line about the fee structure. And then we stop because we are afraid and we say, what if they say no? What if they go, oh, you're not worth that? That's too much. How can you do this? But we have to find out how to do that. And this is something that is important. Your audience is so international that understanding, well, who is the client? Is the client American? Is the client Russian? Is the client, from the Middle East? Is the client from somewhere else? What do they expect as far as how clear and direct it should be? Is the number finite? Is it negotiable? Is it the beginning of a conversation? All of these elements are things to consider when you have a global audience. How do they need to hear the pitch for money? But it is scary.
But you know what I noticed, that women are more hesitant. I have no idea why, because I teach women in United Arab Emirates in Dubai, some ladies, and they were so much afraid. They talk about anything, about their job, about how they're good in that. They're financial leaders. They are leaders who are making great clothes, for example,
Yes.
but then they cannot say how much is that at all. Can you imagine that? They cannot mention the money. What do you think? Like we should work with that? We should pronounce that? We should articulate it in front of the mirror? Or what? How to solve that problem?
I think there's a few things. Number one is, yes, learning how to just say what the price is, especially for a garment, a clothing of some sort. The dress costs this much, the jeans cost this much. Being able to say your price, you said it for a reason. You believe that it's worth that. For my coaching, for my training, for my classes, it is so easy to want to say, well, this is my price, but will they say no? Should I discount it first? Should I tell them I can negotiate right away? I think what's most important, and you can practice this. I like using a smartphone and practice. You can use your video camera to just practice saying it and watch yourself. Because if you can say with a very simple, nice smile, straight face, but so the price for this is X. Stop talking. Stop talking. Say the word.
Just waiting.
Yes, it's okay. You can, and so, we've talked about, project X, Y, or Z, or this product, this service, and the fee for that is simply this. And then let them break the silence. We feel so nervous that we have to keep talking and to explain and say, but if that's too much, then I'll give your price gently. Stop talking. Let the other person break the silence, because here's the secret. People don't like to say no. If you tell people what your price is, and of course there's, cultural differences around the world in different ways, but in general, most human beings are very uncomfortable saying no to somebody. They don't like to say that. I mean, some countries and cultures like to haggle and they like to bargain. Fine, then give them your top price, because they will want to haggle down and they will want to negotiate the price. Okay, but don't do the negotiation for them. Don't start at one price and then say, well, but if you need to, I can bring it to this and I can bring it to this. And if necessary, I can bring it to this. Let them ask. Let them do the work for themselves. You do your work.
Absolutely. And we like people when they say, it's a very expensive, it's a very luxury good, it's a very luxury service. At the end of the day, we like it, because when they tell it's luxury, it's very elegant, it's not for everybody, then you feel very special. So at the end of the days, it's not that bad. Maybe.
Yes.
Laura, you were saying a lot in your interviews about introduction, that it's very important to introduce yourself nicely. For example, your name is Laura Sicola, and you were saying even when you pronounce it, you need to say Laura Sicola. Don't play Laura Sicola, because people, they don't know this name by heart, maybe. So when we do introduction and the business meeting with our clients, what is important, how to because I noticed some people, they even don't say, they say, and then they say, oh my god, nobody bought anything, nobody, of course, because we didn't even hear what are you doing and what you want. How to make this introduction nicely?
So when we're talking introductions, you just mean your name, right? Not your whole elevator pitch or something longer. Just starting out with saying the name clearly and effectively, right? Is this
maybe name and what your company is doing, what you are doing?
Got it. So there's two pieces then. First, I think to your original point, what's really important is for people to understand what your name is. Most people, when they introduce themselves, they talk way too fast. They run their whole name together. There's no first name, last name clarity. And it sometimes, I find in English at least, many people ask their name like it's a question, and they put a rising tone on the end. So I would say, hi, I'm Laura Sicola. And like, people don't even hear what it's.
Yeah.
What? You don't want people to make that face when you say your name. What? That's not a good reaction. So we have to speak slower than usual, and we have to put space between first and last name so people understand where it breaks down, especially if your audience speaks a different native language from yours. They may not understand how to break your name up, so you need to give them pieces. And then make sure the first name goes up, second name goes down. So as you beautifully said, my name, and thank you, is Laura Sicola. So up, pause, and down. People can hear the pieces nice and clearly. Then they can talk to me. Then they can look me up on Google or someplace else, and it helps them to learn more about me and to talk to me comfortably. As far as the content is concerned, for a simple elevator pitch, I think people need to know two things. Very simply, what are the products or services that you offer, and what is the benefit that people get for using it? Because most people give too many details about how they do what they do. Well, I do online trainings, or I can do one-on-one coaching, and I can also I have online courses, and I have these talks, and I have videos, and it's less about that. So my work is in leadership communication and influence. I help executives be more influential, more inspiring leaders. So just through that one sentence, people understand who my audience is, and they understand the value that they get. More influential, more inspiring leaders, not just smart, not just good at their job, not just in the position. People know that they are knowledgeable, they're experts, but do they inspire? Do they want to inspire? Do they want to feel inspiring? If so, and do you want to have influence? Do you want more people to say yes from the heart? If that's what you want, then you come to me. So I think you need to have a simple sentence saying that helps people understand what you do and why people should want it, what value they get out of it. And if they can get that quickly and easily, then they'll say the three words that are gold in their response to you, which is, tell me more. Because then if you get them to say, tell me more, then you can give more information because they've asked for it. So now they're truly listening because they want the information that they have requested. That's what I like to call it, bait. Like when you go fishing, you need to put the worm on the hook or put the bait on the hook. That first sentence or two is your bait. How do you get people to say, tell me more? Pull it back. You want them to say, tell me more.
It's very interesting that you mentioned this, a lot of pauses. It's not that you talk non-stop. You just tell something and wait. With the price or with your introduction, you make this powerful pause. And then you wait for the reaction. I think it's also you acknowledge who your audience is by doing that. You give them the right to decide and to take action, which is powerful, because by that we empower our audience. We know that you are powerful, resourceful, we give you the right. And then I think, tell me more, and they really want to communicate. They will run to communicate with you. It's interesting. If the expert want to go global, he's an expert, he's doing something, but he doesn't want to live only in the States or only in Moscow or only in Ukraine or only in Paris. He wants other people know about him, especially now when a lot of us are in the kitchens with the computers without, with these lockdowns, there is no luxury to going here and there. So people, they don't want to sit in their village only. How to go global? What to do? Is it ever possible, or it's not for everybody?
I think a lot of it depends on what your service or product is, of course, and who your audience is, who needs what you're selling, and then you need to figure out how to find them. If are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? What platform do they use? And then how do you reach them there? And what kind of messaging is necessary? I think honestly that if you want to go global, video is absolutely the best way to go, because you can make simple little 1-minute videos to put on Instagram. You can put simple little videos on LinkedIn. And with the video, and you do this in all of your videos, having the subtitles along the bottom is really important, because I saw a statistic that something like 80% of all videos online are watched on mute. Sound.
Mm-hmm.
So, or even as they scroll past in the feed on social media, maybe they don't want to hit unmute to listen because videos are automatically muted. But as they're scrolling past, if they see some words along the bottom that are interesting to them, they may stop and then hit unmute so they can listen to more of what you're saying. So I think it is important to have video, because people connect with you as a person. If you're the business owner, you're the expert, then that means you're the brand. So we have an expression, investors here in the United States, at least. We have it. They have an expression which is,
you see, you're afraid of these investors. You're already afraid. These investors are everywhere. These American investors. So tell me, please, Laura.
The expression is bet the jockey, not the horse. So this is a horse racing analogy. And the idea is, of course, the jockey is the person who rides the horse in the race. And you can have a great horse, but if the jockey does not have the reputation for being a super expert, then even if the horse is excellent, we don't place the bet. So you can have the best company, the best product, the best service, but if you, as the entrepreneur, as the expert, don't have that ability to inspire your audience and to make people believe that your product is the best, that they trust you, they like you, that you understand them, and that you created this product or service for them because you understand their needs, then it might look interesting, but they're not going to buy it. When you make that video, they feel like they're connecting directly with Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos or some of these other gigantic business moguls. It's you. They get to connect with you personally. And that makes a big difference in inspiring people to follow your brand. So
And I think
nothing else.
your company, Vocal Impact Productions, this is what you're doing. You're doing videos, you are helping people to be more influenced, you help them to make all these tools. So at least, more people know about them. And as my last comment, or my last wish, or my last comment to you, dear Laura, what you will recommend to the audience? We are called Hidden Hero. Our platform is called Hidden Hero. Why? Because we believe that in every of us, the hero is living. But just sometimes this hero is going out at the age of 90 or 80 when it's a little bit too late. And of course, we want these heroes go out before, when we are young and strong. What you will recommend to all these hidden heroes who are still hidden, who are afraid to talk with you, who are afraid to be like Laura Sicola, who want to be like you, but they cannot, they don't know how to wear that nice red and to be strong and beautiful. What you will recommend these hidden heroes?
I think what's important for everyone is to find your voice. When you learn, many people are afraid to speak to higher audiences, to wider audiences. They're afraid to hear the sound of their own voice. They're afraid to see themselves on video. You need to get comfortable in this medium, and you need to learn to make sure that your expertise isn't just up here, that you can express your expertise and give your ideas, your suggestions to people in a way that they can understand it and accept it in a way that's relevant to them. So you need to practice your speaking. I suggest using the video camera, because even just 1 minute, 2 minutes, you practice explaining something on a video, then you can watch back, and there you see the gap between what you meant to say and what you planned to say and what you wanted to project, and on the other side, what actually came out. And when you see the difference, then you have power. Then you have control, because you can say, oh, I don't like how my voice sounded here. I don't like what I did with my hands. I don't like the way I explained that. It wasn't clear. I can fix it next time. It gives you so much control. And if these are things that are interesting, you can look at my book, which is Speaking to Influence, or check out the podcast, because that's what I teach. It's very easy to find in the book, and there's an online course as well, which is Virtual Influence, which you can find to teach you how to do that effectively on video. But you have to be confident in your voice, because if you aren't, no one else will be either.
So we introduced you today to Secret Weapon, Laura Sicola. Now you know where to find and how to speak to influence. Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure. Thank you for that knowledge, and it was very, very inspiring. All the best to you, Laura. Let your dreams, come true. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
It was a
Olga.
pleasure to be with you. Thank
It's an
you.
honor to be